Hey friends, Amanda here, Bare Bones Living. Welcome back to my garden. I feel like I have not given you guys a garden update or garden tour in a while. It's been kind of crazy around here, and we were actually out of town for the weekend. The week previous we had some really bad storms. We had some more storms while we were gone over the weekend, and a ton to harvest. And with the strong winds that I know that we had while we were here and whatever happened while we were gone, my tomatoes are in dire need of support. They need to be picked, they need to be supported, and all the things. But this is also my August garden tour, I suppose. So I hope you're ready because there's a lot to go over. So first and foremost, I figured I'd give you just like a quick overview. We're at the corner of my garden here. I did start to hang some things, but as you can see with my bird feeder, everything has a nice lean on it from all the wind and all the rain washing everything out. So I gotta get everything back in order, but I don't know if you can see this purple flower down around here. I did sprinkle. You can see that my garden pathway, I tilled in an extra like lane around my garden, but most of it has grown up. But I did sprinkle some wildflower seeds in here, and I didn't think any of them took, but I did have something come up. And I'm embarrassed to say that I don't even know what it is. I sprinkled so many wildflower seeds out here, and I'm not good with flowers yet. But this is the only one that I see over here. Totally nondescript. I have no idea what it is, but I'm happy to see it. And then amongst the grasses here, you'll see I have some cosmos popping up here. I did not have a chance yet to lay this mulch that I had bought, and now I have to really de-weed everything, and these cosmos hadn't even come up yet. I did in some areas where I knew things were growing or where I planted another growing plant, like this coneflower. I got a white coneflower. I did put some mulch around things that were visible that were growing, but I didn't do like the whole bed. So I got those cosmos down here. I have a coneflower here. And then further down the line here, I have my zinnias, starting with these purple ones here. This purple one that I bought as a plant, and then these orange, these little ones, are actually from seed. I bought this dark orange one, but then these other ones that you see here are just popping up from seed. And I just wasn't patient, so I went out and started plants as well. And then on this side of my gate is right here, I did mulch this whole garden here because I had planted this out. And you can see that my marigold has fallen over from the wind. This, I believe, is a Cosmo growing wild and crazy here. Underneath this marigold is a golden chamomile that has yet to blossom. I think this is another marigold here. And then I have more chamomile. That's a calendula plant next to the chamomile. And then another chamomile plant, and another chamomile plant. Mostly chamomile down here. And then this is my butterfly bush that I bought as a started plant, and it has bloomed quite a few times, and I hear that this is supposed to get very large, but this is where it stands right now. And I'm excited to see where it goes. And then as you can see up from there, this row here, that is a black-eyed Susan plant that I bought as a started plant. And it has been blooming for a while now. I have a lot of those growing wild in my fields. And then past that, I sowed a bunch of sunflowers that don't look very beautiful at the moment. I'm pretty sure this yellow one here is a lemon queen, perhaps? I planted the lemon sunflowers up front here by this black-eyed Susan, but I didn't think any of them germinated. And then the rest of them I got from David Gray in the seed swap. And I think they're black oil sunflower seeds, but I'm not totally sure. And they were looking gorgeous, but then the wind, of course, knocked them all down. I'll put up a picture here of how beautiful they were. Along the back side of my garden here, I have a black hollyhock that I started from seed, and that is the best that it has done all season. I was expecting it to do more. I've never grown a hollyhock. I'm hoping it comes back bigger next year, but it didn't flower, so I don't know if it will or not. But that's what I was trying to grow there. And then I have yarrow in, it's hard to tell, right here. A couple different places where you can see like the holes, the patches in the grass. That's all yarrow, and I have that planted along the back of this fence here. And again, they grew, but they didn't like flower or anything. And I've never grown yarrow either. But I mean, it definitely grew, but it didn't grow like I expected it to. And again, I'm hoping that it comes back next year and it's bigger and fuller. But we'll see, I guess. If you guys know, put it in the comments below. Now starting on the inside of my gate here, this is the corner gate. I have a bean plant. I can't remember what beans those were, but I planted them all along in between this T-post and that T-post. And some of them grew and some of them didn't, but this one is, and it has some to harvest, so we're going to harvest those. Down here, I don't think I've ever shown you guys this. I think I showed you that I planted it, when I planted it, but this first row here is all of my squash that didn't need support, like zucchinis and scallop squash and gourds and things. So I'm sure we're going to find quite a few treasures in that. At the end, those are like cornucopia gourds and things like that. Then behind that on the first, I have 2 rows of cattle panels. And on the first one here, 2 of my plants did not survive here, but this first one here is a loofah gourd, and I don't know if you can see that little baby loofah growing. It's the light colored gourd in between those darker round ones. I don't know, I think I maybe started them too late. Again, I don't know if they'll grow to fruition, but I figured it was better than not trying at all. Then those darker ones that are around it, I believe are sweet meat squash. And we also have a spaghetti squash and an acorn squash. I might be missing a squash in there. And then behind that is cucumbers. And you can see I got a couple of really big cucumbers right there. I don't know if they'll still be any good. in this heat. There's a lot to pick in here and a lot that still needs to ripen. And then on this side, my rattlesnake beans that are growing up here, that I was in my previous one saying I wasn't super thrilled with their production. They almost died out, but they've come back with a vengeance here, so they need to be harvested again. And then this is my worst bed, guys. Look at this. These are all my tomatillos. Got tomatillos and romas got totally toppled over. Lots to harvest here, but the majority of my work needs to be done in this bed. But there, oh my gosh, look at this. Tomato Central, and it's everywhere. They need help controlling themselves. So these are all my tomatoes here. I'll show you an overview of what I have real quick. Oh my gosh, look at all those tomatoes down. And I got some really big tomatoes here, guys. So excited. Some ready, some not quite. But there's a lot of work that needs to be done in here. So I'm just gonna get to work. So I'm really just like in survival mode here. I'm just gonna be removing my tomatoes that I see, and then, yeah, lots of things have gotten to them. And then tacking these back up, trying to support them as best I can. And this is definitely just how I have to do this, because I only have so much time while my boys are napping to get this done, and before I need to go get my son from the bus stop. And to me, this is what my gardening usually looks like. I'm usually picking up the pieces because I only have so much time in a day to devote to things, but it's better than nothing. So you guys see it in its raw form, and then I'll show you what I come up with at the end. So I hope that you can appreciate, where I've pulled up my tomatillos, and they're only somewhat secure. I just used some twist ties to hold them together and then tethered them to this cattle panel. And then you can see I still have these romas down here, but it's already so congested up here, and these romas don't have much more life in them. So I'm just going to let the ones that are here ripen, and they have plenty of room now to do that. So I think I'm just going to save myself the trouble. I don't have a whole ton of time to make everything just so, but these tomatillos are just growing bonkers, and they definitely needed support, and they have a lot more growing and a lot more blossoms and things like that, so I focused on them. And I filled up my entire colander of miscellaneous tomatoes and tomatillos, mostly that broke off while I was pinning them up. And this is just pretty much only from this row. It's not even including the other side that has cherry tomatoes on it. So I'm going to need to get another container to continue on here. So now that I'm starting with a new container, I'm going to start with my bigger tomatoes. And these are my Black Prince tomatoes here. And then these big ones here are my Carbon tomatoes. These are these three, I think, maybe four. This one looks like a different plant altogether, so I'm not really sure what that one is, but I think these three are at least Carbon tomatoes. I'm going to have to take that one off because it's totally buckled over the plant, but we're going to have to harvest some of these guys too. On this side of the bed I have some nice large ones. There's another one hiding right in here. These are, I believe, are my Abe Lincolns. And I think over here, these ones are my Paul Robesons. I'm not totally sure, but got another big guy down there. In this bed, you can see I have my Dr. Weich's. A critter got to this one. And then the storms also got to this one, so I gotta fix that. And then down at this other end here, you can see that big one right there. Those are my black Brandywines over on that side. I think over here is supposed to be some pink oxheart, and these are supposed to be Amish paste. Although looking at that big one back there, I don't think all of them are Amish paste, but these ones here are. Let's see what we can find in here. This next bed is where it starts to get a lot of different varieties, I believe. I think this is black from Tula. This might be a cream sausage here. Then Tigerella. And then I think some more cream sausage over here. And I'm not really sure what these plum tomatoes are. In this bed I have mostly strawberry, or black strawberry I think they're called. They're these reddish purple ones. And then I thought I had gobstoppers here. I don't think I actually maybe didn't plant any gobstoppers. I thought the gobstoppers were green, but these are all orange, so I'm assuming they're sun golds or something like that. More of the black strawberry, and then these kind of saladette size ones, like down here. Those are the Sun Ray. And back to the beginning, the other side of my Roma and Tomatillo bed is the last of my cherry tomatoes. I know these are Sun Gold. I think these bigger ones here are some Floridad because I realized I didn't have any of those planted. And then these over here are my Mexican Midget cherry tomatoes, and I am quickly running out of space in my bucket. So let's see what we can squeeze them in. So I went through my cucumbers and zucchini and beans, and this is what I pulled out. One of my zucchinis went bad on the plant, so I gave it to my pigs, and 2 of my cucumbers were overripe, and I gave them to the pigs. And I had that full colander that I took in earlier, and now I have a full 5-gallon bucket that is overfilled. So I was just able to basically harvest what was ready in the tomatoes, try to give them some more support, restring some of the plants through my cattle panels, and grab some beans and cucumbers and zucchini. There's still a lot in here that I haven't shown you guys. There's still a ton more work that I have to do, but this has taken me all afternoon. And then I had my bee mentor actually show up that I totally forgot about, and we had to go work with the bees real quick. So I still need to make dinner and get all this stuff in, and I guess I will have to catch you guys up on the rest of it later. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you guys for stopping by today and joining in on our journey here at Bare Bones Living. We'll catch you on the next one.